So this is probably not what anyone watching this is going to want to hear. This is not scripted. This is just an off the cuff thing, but I'm going to try to keep it as straightforward and, I guess, coherent as possible. You've probably noticed it's been over a year at this point since the last full video and 10 months since the last vlog. Of course, the pandemic was an issue. I couldn't get anyone over to play with me, so I couldn't form proper opinions and stuff. But you already know all this. But I'd been really looking forward to getting back into the swing of things when it was, safe enough, and I could. Then I could, and I recorded a match of the Mega Man trading card game. And it took a long time, but I wrote an 11-page script. And I've been trying to record the script for the past 2 months. But every time I set aside a day to film, something got in the way. I even had a freaking post-credits scene planned. It was just going to be me sitting silently playing a Battle Network game. Hell, I grabbed the DS version of 5, my old copy from years ago, but my 3DS couldn't read it. I even tried cleaning the contacts with rubbing alcohol to no avail. This cart is dead. Anyway, I kept pushing back the recording just because stuff kept coming up, and finally, today, the stars aligned, and I could finally take this script that's been done for ages and actually record it. But I just could not muster the mental energy to sit down in front of a camera and film. I guess the past year and a half, all of us, we've all been dealing with an elevated baseline level of stress because of everything that's been going on. I mean, it's going to be years before we see the full impact of this generational trauma, but that's not really, I don't want to get into such a heavy subject. But between that and having also unintentionally overcommitted to other projects and such that ended up going nowhere while I was isolated and just trying to find ways to fill my time, and now trying to wrangle doctors to get care for my transition, because if you missed the last vlog, hi, I'm transgender. And between all of that, my motivation for doing Dungeon of the Discarded is just completely shot. I think it has been for a long time now. Not to mention, I'm also a lot less comfortable putting my face on camera these days. It sucks, because I really did kind of like the Mega Man TCG, and I wanted to share it with you all. I had 10 more games lined up after that, all sitting on my shelf. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. Some are just historically really interesting. I was especially looking forward to doing Dot Hack Enemy because I love Dot Hack. I even picked up this piece of garbage 2 weeks ago. Making these videos, it was hard, but I used to really love doing it. I loved making these videos for you guys, just finding old games, researching them, playing them, putting my thoughts into a coherent form and scripting it out and putting it together. And I love doing it. And yeah, DOTD, we've only got 7 episodes, but I enjoyed almost every minute of making those 7 videos. And it still makes me really happy knowing that people who watched them enjoyed them too. But despite all that, I think we've reached the end of the road. And I feel awful. I know I'm letting down all of my viewers, and especially my supporters on Patreon who stuck by me for all of this time waiting for the channel to come back. But I just don't think it's going to happen at this point. Even if I could sit and film, even if I had the mental energy to do that, I then don't want to have to spend hours aggravating my gender dysphoria by staring at my face in a video editing timeline. I could force myself to finish the video, but I'm not remotely confident the result would be any good. And honestly, I feel like, in a way, that's even worse than nothing at all. Just finally getting something and having it be lackluster and not satisfying for anyone. So where does this leave us? Where are we at the end of the day? For starters, I want to apologize to all my Patreon supporters whose names I'm going to put on screen right now. I really am truly sorry to all of you, especially the higher tier supporters, Bunny89 and Scott Collier, I really do want to apologize for not giving you the videos that you've been waiting so long for. And especially with all of these games that I was only able to get because of your support. I'm going to pause the Patreon after this video so that you don't get charged again, what with the channel dead. As for the planned Mega Man video, I think I'm just going to post a script on Patreon for those who are still around. By the time this goes live, it should be up already for patrons. And, I mean, I guess I'll mark it public 3 days later as usual. I mean, it's not what you all wanted, but it's something. I am at least proud of the script. I'm happy with how that came out. So even if it's not filmed, you can just picture me in your head reading it out to you. And just please, it's maybe I'll come back to YouTube someday with a different format, a different subject matter, maybe even a different channel entirely. And at that point, I'll, I guess, redesign the Patreon, open it back up. And I would not blame anyone for not wanting to support me at that point, given what happened here. But I don't know. We'll have to see where things go from now. So, for probably the last time, this is Nova bidding you farewell from the Dungeon of the Discarded.